Good morning. Thank you very much for coming. You're very punctual.
Good morning.
You may not be able to turn on your mics as this is a webinar. So if you would like to wish us a good morning, please pop your messages into the chat and Jasmine will be able to see them. Thank you. We'll wait until some other people have arrived before we start.
Hi, good morning, Lola. Here she is. Good morning.
¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis?
Muy bien.
Hi,
gracias.
Lola.
¡Qué guapas! ¡Qué guapas!
Tú también.
Thank you
Pues,
very much.
preciosa. Que estaba ahí pensando, no tenemos ningún fondo de Pearson, y yo por lo menos no para Zoom. Y digo, pues al final
Yeah.
el fondo de la
It's
pared.
okay.
No pasa
Sí,
nada,
sí,
¿no?
perfecto.
Que esta participación como panelista, ¿qué quiere decir? ¿Que solamente podemos hablar nosotros o cómo está eso? ¿Qué quiere decir?
Sí,
Hemos
tienes que ser
comenzado la
panelistas.
reunión.
¿Qué?
Que ya
Hemos
está en
comenzado
vivo.
la reunión.
Vale.
Yeah. So como panelista, tú puedes abrir el micro, pero los asistentes no pueden abrir el micro. Ellos tienen que comunicarse por el chat.
Vale.
In case we have any Portuguese attendees, I was just saying that your microphones you won't be able to turn them on. You will only be able to wish us a good morning or ask any questions via the chat, or you also have the questions and answers box as well that you can use to.
Yeah, please do use the chat box. I'll be monitoring that throughout the presentation. So put any messages in there and I'll be keeping on top of that. So yeah, feel free to say hello, introduce yourself in the chat box.
Hi, Laia. I see you. Laia, I see you have your hand up. Could you put any question or query you have? Oh yeah, there's someone in the chat now.
That's me.
That's you. We're going to wait. We have about another 3 minutes before we're going to start. If you would like to, this is a great opportunity to go grab yourself a cup of coffee. This will be a really informal webinar, so feel free to have tea or coffee to hand. Jasmine's got her water. She's being very healthy.
Also, it's quite hot, you know, so I think a cup of coffee or a tea right now might warm me up a little bit. I've got my fan as well.
Good morning, Angeles.
Are you still drinking tea right now, Claire? So I feel like I always drink tea, but more during winter and autumn, but I just can't drink tea in summer.
Oh, I still love my my coffee. I have coffee.
Coffee, yeah, every
I
morning.
have green tea first thing in the morning. Then I move on to coffee.
Good morning, Bella. How are
Hola,
you?
¿se me oye?
Yeah.
Ah,
Perfect.
el audio, ¿dónde se apaga? Es que no lo veo. Ah, audio, ahí, vale, lo digo para no, cuando estéis hablando, no liárosla. Entonces, ¿qué somos? Solo los cuatro, porque Guille no puede venir y Paloma pues ha tenido un problema grave.
Ya estamos en la reunión con asistentes, ¿vale?
Good morning, those just joining. Welcome. Write me if you can, try to write something in the chat box so I know that you can participate and that I can see your messages, because I can't see any messages so far, and we're going to be asking you to participate in the chat box. So let me know you're there, say hello, let's hear from you in the chat box.
We have one comment in the question and answer box from Angeles.
Ah, okay, it's in the preguntas y respuestas.
Uh-huh.
Good morning, Angeles. Morning, Elisa.
Good morning.
Hi, how you doing? Alyssa, how do you like to start your morning? Do you start with coffee or tea?
A giant chalice of coffee.
True American style, right?
Do you have
right?
Do you have it Americano or I forgot?
No, the latte. But look at my, you see my mug here? It's quite large. How is everyone today?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
So there's been a comment from Laia that the chat box seems to be disabled. I'll see if I can open it. Doesn't seem like I can. So you can use the preguntas y respuestas or the answers, questions and answers box for all of your comments, and Jasmine will be able to see them there.
Great.
Yeah, Andrew's also
Andrew says the same. Okay.
All right, I think we'll get started. First of all, thank you all so much for joining this morning. I know this can be a busy time of year for everybody. My name's Claire Dorman. Some of you may know me. I've worked in Pearson now for about 7 years. I've recently changed my job in Pearson, so I'm now working as what is called a learning consultant, which means I'm here to help look at the tools we have in the Pearson portfolio to help you develop and grow your business. And that's a little bit what we're going to be looking at today. And Jasmine is also going to be presenting with me. Would you like to introduce yourself, Jasmine?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm going to introduce myself later as well, but I'm Jasmine Anderson. So I'm an ELT consultant. Actually, I'm working in Catalonia and Baleares. I was just covering half of Catalonia, but as Claire's just changed her role, as she mentioned, I'm now covering the whole of Catalonia and Baleares. I've been at Pearson for about 5 years now, and yeah, I'm very happy to be here with you all this morning. So thanks for coming.
Okay. As we mentioned, the seems that both your microphones in the chat has been disabled, so just put all questions and queries into the questions and answers box, and if Jasmine will respond to them there, or we can open it up to the floor as well if necessary. Okay, so we have about an hour and a half today. We're going to start looking at courseware, then moving on to a short part on mindfulness, then looking at Mondly, which some of you may have heard something about, and finally looking at how we can connect all of the tools that we have in Pearson's portfolio through the Pearson Connected English Learning Program. And then at the very end, you will have a chance to meet your wonderful ELT consultant from each area of the country. That includes Portugal as well. So, yep, I think we can get started. And I am going to pass the mic to Jasmine, who's going to talk to us about courseware.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to give you a very quick overview of what's new in Pearson for 2024. As Claire said, you're going to meet your ELT consultants later. So the idea is that I'll give you a kind of overview, and then if you want to have a more in-depth look at any of our courses, if you want to receive samples, or if you want to know anything else, you can contact them at the end. So let's get into it, Claire. So what's new for Pearson in 2024? First of all, I want to ask you guys, so if you can write to me in the kind of question and answers box, what new courses are you looking for at the moment? Is there anything that you're still looking for at the moment that perhaps you're looking for something for primary students, for teens? Tell us what you need.
I'm going to interject here and just say, spoiler alert, we do not currently have any new proficiency courses.
This is the first question that everybody always asks us. please give us C2 material, but maybe in 2025, maybe. Right, I can't see, I think maybe because the questions and answer box is a little bit harder to write questions in there, so maybe we can't have as much interaction as we wanted, Claire. I think it takes a bit longer to write an answer.
Okay, well, we can give it another minute if anyone would like to. Even if we just get a couple of responses, anyone wants to write what they're looking for their center, for their students in there. I can.
Well, should we go ahead and tell them anyway?
Sure.
Okay, so our first course that we're going to have new for this year, and I really think it is Pearson's year for new courses, and that's our wonderful collaboration with Disney, which is for primary. Secondly, we've got a new course for the upper levels of primary and the lower levels of SO, ICT and English. And we've also got our brand new, bigger, better, updated Speak Out 3rd edition. So I'm sure you're all familiar with Speak Out. It's been around for over 10 years now, and this is our brand new edition. So let's get into Disney. As you can see here, I mean, I absolutely love this collaboration with Disney and also Pixar. I wanted to put the kind of 6 levels here so you can have a really nice visual representation of all the beautiful Disney characters that we're working with and just how kind of wonderful this world is that we're going to invite your students to learn English in. So we've got the 6 levels. It's for around 6 years old to 12 years old. It finishes an A2 in the 6th of primary, and also Pearson's Global Scale of English. So this may sound familiar. It finishes in a number 36 on this scale. Claire's going to tell you more about that later, so just kind of bear that in mind. It's a flexible course, so it's for around 2 to 3 hours a week. I would say you can use it for around an hour a week as well. What I would suggest doing if you want to use it for a few hours is chat to your ELT consultant later, and they will show you how you can just use it for a shorter course. So what will you love about this course? We've been promoting it now for the last few months. It's brand new for 2024. Oh, one thing I'll tell you before we start, it's exclusively for academies. You're not going to find any other school using this course. So what you'll love, as I mentioned, it is this wonderful collaboration with Disney, but also Pixar. So don't just think like traditional Disney films. You've got a wonderful selection of films in there. You can see we start every unit with a Disney film. So this is Brave. And we just really kind of engage students, get them motivated, bring them into this world of Disney. And then through the video stories, as you can see, we start every unit. They start to learn about the vocabulary, they sing songs, and this really just kind of draws them into what they're going to learn. And then it's really a storytelling, a story-based course. So as well as the Disney videos, we also have a second story in every single unit. In the lower levels, they're more kind of animations and comics. And in the higher levels, they're extracts from readers, their storybooks. And this is really just for them to use their imagination, their creativity, have fun, and act out the story. Then you'll start to see here that we're kind of doing...
Disculpa, Yasmin, es que hay gente en el chat que dice que no se te oye muy bien. Si puedes corregir un poquito esto, perdona la interrupción.
Okay, the law says we can't.
Thank you, Peta.
Hear me. Is anyone else having that problem?
I think it's just getting a little muffled like it was before.
Okay, it may be my connection.
Just try and move a little bit closer, I think, to the computer.
Okay.
And try not to look away from the computer so much.
Sorry, guys. It does look like the chat is disabled because people are asking in the answers to questions and answers, but
that's fine. I can see questions and answers. Can you guys hear me okay?
That's better for me anyway. That's better. Let's see.
Okay. Let me know if it continues and I can take out my headphones.
That's much clearer for me now.
Okay. So yeah, we obviously, so yeah, as you can see here, in the stories and the films, we are also developing this idea of emotional intelligence. So this is quite a big trend in ELT right now, and we want to teach primary students how they can develop this skill. So in the stories, they're going to be identifying how does the main character feel, or perhaps how to be more empathetic, how to ask for help. And so we start to see this in the stories. And then we also have a lesson in every unit dedicated to emotional intelligence. So we kind of complete this training with looking at the stories and identifying the feeling that we're working on. And then we apply this and personalize this. So for example, here we're looking at how is the character feeling, and then we think about how is my friend feeling today? Is my friend angry or sad? And this is something that we're doing all throughout the series. And then lastly, I think it's really important to know that this is our first primary course, which is available on Pearson English Connect, our brand new digital platform. And it's just really fun. You've got lots of games, you've got lots of interaction. For example, here you can see an animation that pops up when students get the correct answer. So I would encourage you to ask for a demo from your ELT consultant so you can see how that works. Right, we're going to show you a video clip now from, this is Brave, and this appears in level 3. And I want you to think about and put in the chat box, Merida is the main character. Tell me, how is Merida feeling? So how is Merida feeling? I can't hear the audio.
Can anyone else hear the audio? Any of my panelists? Can you confirm if you can hear the audio or not, please?
We can't hear the audio.
Can't hear the audio. Okay. And now? No?
Try again?
This
Yes.
is Princess
Yes.
Merida's home. Merida has 3 brothers. They're young, they're short, and they have red hair. Here's Merida. Merida has red hair too, and those are her parents. Her mum is angry. Merida isn't happy. Merida's mum has long brown hair. Mum's a little angry. Merida is sad. Merida's mum teaches her about her country and how to play music. Merida's dad is tall and strong, and he's funny. Merida's mum wants Merida to be a good princess. It's hard for Merida. She wants to have fun too. Today, Merida can do her favourite things. She's happy. She horseback rides. Today, she can be Merida, not Princess Merida.
Okay, great. So as you can see, Merida perhaps at the beginning was feeling a little bit unhappy that she couldn't really do the things she wanted and she had to just focus on being a princess. And at the end, she's feeling happier because she can kind of let go of her responsibilities and do the things that she loves, like horse riding. So let's move on to I Succeed. So as I mentioned, everybody is asking us right now, or at least when I go to visits, and everybody asks me, Jasmine, please, do we have something for those higher levels of primary, maybe 10, 11, 12 years old, that they're just no longer so childish, but they're not quite teenagers yet. And so we've created I Succeed in English exactly for this. So you've got the 5 levels here that you can see for 10 to 15-year-olds. It finishes in a B1 plus in the 5th level. And again, the GSC is a 54 for around 2 to 3 hours a week. But like all of our courses, it is flexible.
Sorry, Jasmine and Claire, I don't think that the other participants can comment in the chat box.
Yeah,
No, they
it's because
can't.
they can't. We've mentioned at the beginning. It's because it's a seminario web, not a traditional reunion. So there's the preguntas y respuestas in Spanish, or the answers,
Right.
the questions and answers box, which is where
Right.
they'll have to put it, because even though I'm the host, I am unable to open up the chat box.
Just wanted to mention it because we mentioned to put when we ask them something, we say, okay, put it in the chat box. Just to clarify, instead of the chat box, we mean in the questions and answers
Questions
box.
and answers box.
Yes.
To clarify.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah, I can see that people are writing in there.
Great.
Cool. So yeah, what we've seen that's been really popular and what we think you will love about I Succeed. Firstly, something different. We've designed the course around the Sustainable Development Goals, and we think it's really important. And again, a very kind of important topic right now in ELT that's really coming into this world. How can we teach students to be more sustainable, to raise awareness about poverty, to perhaps think about gender equality? So I think it's a really great point that this course has been designed all around these goals. And also something that's just really important for this age range is how can we motivate these students? And we all know that students just love learning with videos. So you'll see here we've got 6 types of videos in every single unit. And we follow like a TV series with different characters in each level. And we learn through them how to use the grammar or how to do more functional English, also grammar animations. So it really is just perfect for this age group. We also include loads of quizzes, fun time sections, just lots of kind of fun competitions, and also a fast finishes section that you'll see here. So I know from being a teacher as well that you always have students that there's always that 1 or 2 that finish before everyone else, and they're asking you, what can I do? They've got their dedicated section where they can go and do kind of code breakers and puzzles in the fast finishes section at the back. Something else really nice is that we're promoting diversity and inclusion in the sense that there'll be videos and lessons and topics based around people that are different to your students. So not everybody is the same. And for example, here, even celebrities like Ed Sheeran have gone through hardships. And in this case, he actually had a stammer, a speech impediment. And so, but he managed to overcome that and obviously become a very famous singer with the help of his friends and family. So just teaching your students about these different types of people and stories as well. And then we can't leave out the fact that it does have exam preparation. So every unit, every level has a skills training section where we'll be training students to take an external exam, whether that's Pearson exams that Claire will be telling you about later, or any other external exam. So I'm going to show you a short clip from I Succeed level 1. And this time I want you to think about what we're going to do is perhaps we can say the first person to write in the questions and answer box and what grammar point is being covered here. So can you identify, this is a grammar video, so what grammar point are we showing?
is this my job?
Well, it really isn't my job to tidy up my children's things.
But they aren't my things. They're Lola and Dad's things.
Oh, really? Whose phone is this?
Exactly.
Lola's phone.
Okay. And is this Lola's hoodie?
No, it isn't, but...
You see? And these are your friend's glasses.
Okay, but these are Dad's books. And this is his watch.
Andy, that isn't the point.
But it's not fair, Mum.
Okay. Whose headphones are these?
They're Lola's.
Oh! Are these my headphones? Great.
No, wait. Lola.
Okay, great. So actually, Laia Fuste, she was the first person to get that within about a minute or a few seconds of the video starting. So congratulations. It was possessives, yeah. So these videos are great, obviously, because I think students sometimes they just really struggle to understand grammar, key grammar points, and how to use them. And so this gives them a really nice context. Oh, and then we had Dolores and Andrew who also guessed it correctly. Okay, so let's move on to Speak Out. I mean, I'm sure that you all know this course. It's our best-selling general English course for adults. And this is just the third edition. So you've got the 8 levels that you can see here. It's for 16 years old and over, but also up to 80 plus. I have lots of users right now who've given me feedback this year and told me that it works just perfectly for 16-year-olds as it does for an 18, someone a retired student or older, that both of them can get engaged, they can give their opinion, and it really, the content is relevant for them. One more thing to mention, it does come in the split editions. So this is obviously a really popular choice for summer intensive courses. So again, what you'll love. First of all, this has been around, this course, for over 10 years. And the second edition was really, really popular. But what we did was we did focus groups, we did research, interviews with users all over the world. And we asked them what's working and what's not working, like what needs to be changed, how can we make it better? So this is just, this third edition is the product, is the result of all this research. With 100% new content. So it's not just been a light update, it's not just been kind of revised slightly, it's all brand new. And we obviously continue with the BBC collaboration, but this time with even more videos and more integrated into the course. So you've got, first of all, vlogs, which introduce every unit. So we basically ask people from all over the world to send us in a recording, just answering a question or sharing their opinion, but just something really informal. And so we could get people with all different accents. And then we also now have the BBC documentaries, but not just documentaries. We've got all the TV series that are like brand new from 2023 or this year. So for example, you've got Doctor Who, you've got The Bake Off, you've got Top Gear, and even this one, Simon Reeves. So someone told me the other day that they just absolutely love Simon Reeves. And so you've got lots of series there to motivate your students. And then this combined with the street interviews as well. And then finally, as you all know, I'm sure that AI is just really breaking in, well, it's kind of really prominent everywhere right now. And even in the ELT world, we want to embrace it and think, how can we kind of really incorporate this into our courseware, into our tools? And in Speak Out, in every lesson C, it's more of a functional English lesson. So how to, in this one, for example, it's how to describe a problem and make recommendations. So first of all, the students will learn a bit of the kind of key vocabulary, for example here, phrases that we need to help describe the problem and make a recommendation. And then we've given students a kind of a safe place to practice this conversation with our AI chatbot. So we're going to show you now a quick clip of how this works.
So, let's go.
It's just so annoying.
What's wrong, buddy?
I can't connect to the Wi-Fi, and I've got a report I need to send in the next 10 minutes.
Claire, I can't see it. I don't know if anyone else
Why
can.
don't you try?
You can't see it. Okay.
Alyssa, can you see it?
No, I can't see it either.
Second. That should work now.
So,
Perfect.
let's go.
It's just so annoying.
What's wrong, buddy?
I can't connect to the Wi-Fi, and I've got a report I need to send in the next 10 minutes.
Why don't you try turning on and off your laptop?
That's a good idea, thanks. But I've already tried it, and it didn't help. What else can I try?
I don't know, maybe your Wi-Fi is low?
I'm sure I'm choosing the right one. It's the network everyone else is using. There must be something else I can try.
Maybe you forgot your password?
I'm pretty sure it's the right password. It is the right password.
Okay, so as we can see here, the conversation changes depending on what answers we give. And then at the end, if we just have a quick look, was it around right at the end? Yeah, just to show you how the computer gives us a score and feedback.
The results. So what happened here is something which is quite typical, at least for my students. The person that they held the conversation with could understand them perfectly, as you can see here, the same, but the language use is something which is still missing. So even though the students listen to the key phrases and practice them, in real situations, like they forget to use them, they just use whatever comes to their mind. So what we can do about it in the classroom, I do something like I try to do exercises which.
Yeah, so just so you can see how the system really listens to what you're saying. And normally the first time the student probably won't use the key phrases from the lesson that's linked to this. But when they see their score and they see that they haven't used them, they can try again and try to really upgrade their vocabulary using more key phrases.
Great, thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, we've got some really great courses, some really interesting stuff. Particularly the Speak Anywhere app is pretty exciting and providing your students with great access to practice. But we're going to move on now to mindfulness, and we're just going to speak a little bit about mindfulness and how we can take care of ourselves. We've reached the end of another long academic year. I'm sure it was full of many different challenges and stresses for all of you. So we're going to think of some practical ways that we can take care of ourselves. And one exercise that I really like to do, one physical exercise that I think is really important for all teachers to take part in. And if you would, I can't see you, so I'm going to trust that you're doing this with me. I want you to take your right arm and extend it out in front of you, palm up.
I'll try to.
Okay, stretch the arm up over your head, bend at the elbow, and give yourselves all a great big pat on the back for another year conquered. Well done. And it's really important that we take these opportunities to say well done, you know, even if everything wasn't perfect, even if we had some issues, you got through it and you got those students either passing their exams or progressing on in their English level. And I'm going to pass the mic, actually, well, not literally the mic, but I'm going to pass it over to you again. I would like you in the questions and answers box. I'm not used to calling it a questions and answers box. I'm used to calling it preguntas y respuestas.
Yeah.
I would like you to put in there 2 or 3 tips that you can share with everyone in the chat today about how you take care of yourself. And then I'm going to share my tips with you. So I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to think of something, anything that comes to mind that you think helps you deal with stress and anxiety during the academic year.
I'll start, Claire. I live quite near the mountain, as we say, the Colserola in Barcelona. So whenever I'm feeling a bit stressed, I love to just get out and go for a walk and be in nature. That always really helps me.
I think that's a really good tip. I think getting out, walking around. You can see some answers are coming in. What have we got, Jasmine?
Okay, so Rosa says, I write one thing every day that I'm grateful for. Oh, I love that one. I love writing grateful lists. I think that really helps. Elizabeth said she swims and dances.
Physical exercise, like you mentioned, really important.
Dolores says a healthy diet, a bit of exercise, like walking by the sea. Oh, you're very lucky if you can walk by the sea. Laia says, yeah, bits of workout between lessons, a few times a week, some squats too. Yeah, Claire, you know about those squats?
Yes, so I've just started weight training, which is definitely a good way to deal with stress. Fantastic. I think those are all great. Oh, great suggestions. That we have do a time for one more, Jasmine?
Yeah, and Andrew, cycling outdoors, weekly meetings with the team to talk about everyday classroom issues. Yeah, that's really good. That's nice that you take the time as well to find out what's going on.
Yeah, and try and deal with problems in the moment, not let them fester. I think it's really important. Okay, so here are some tips I have. I think these are going to be quite practical and easy to take action on. I think one of the first ones is to consider your resources. This doesn't have to be technological. It can also be referring to teachers' books. I meet a lot of teachers. I was one of those teachers that for many years didn't read teachers' books. I felt like I didn't really need to, apart from the answers. But your resources can be a great way for saving time and, as a result, taking away stress. We really don't have to torture ourselves to feel like we've done a good job. So using teachers' books to look for extra material or extra exercises that are already pre-done for us. Also, the new online tests are a great way to save time. And I'm sure that time is the biggest resource that teachers lack. We are all pressed for time, making lesson plans, marking those exams. Kids want to know their results, etc. But there are new online tests powered by AI that can really help save time and give you the chance to do all of these great physical exercises or take the time to yourself to organize other things for the school. My second tip would be student autonomy. I think this is an area where students can use things like AI and other resources to really take responsibility for their own learning. You are the teacher, you are the guide, you are the person imparting that knowledge, but students need to become responsible for their own learning as much as possible. And one way we can do that is by providing them with access to online materials or other tools where they can practice as much as possible outside of our direct contact. And then last but not least, I think this might even be one of my favorite, it's your classroom. So we spend a lot of time thinking, what do the students like? What are they interested in? How can I keep them happy? But if you focus on the things that you enjoy, the way you like to teach, or perhaps building projects or lessons around things that you're passionate about and interested in, for example, Andrew with his cycling, or cooking healthy meals, you could easily do activities based around these, and your interest and passion on these topics will help engage the students a lot more. That also goes for maybe introducing your favorite books or films into a class one day. I think when someone feels comfortable and happy and engaged in their material, that feeds into the students. And it means you enjoy the experience more. And that also makes the experience more important for everyone, more engaging for everyone, sorry. Anyone would like to add anything? Jasmine, would you like to add anything at all?
No, I totally agree with you there. I think that, like, it's like you say, like, what makes a good teacher, and I think it's just like having passion, like we've seen before, having empathy, and just really, I think if you can share that with your students, they're gonna love coming to class. It's not really necessarily about the knowledge you have; it's just about the passion that you convey.
So going back to student autonomy and engagement, one way we can help students with autonomy and provide them with extra practice and access to practice is through Mondly, our AI learning app. I'm going to give you just some quick characteristics of Mondly. It is a non-generative AI app. If you aren't familiar with this term, non-generative basically means it does not generate anything new. It works within the system that it was trained on. Okay, so it's not coming up with lots and lots of new ideas or new material. It is working within a system that has been carefully designed by Mondly's engineers. It has both branching and non-branching conversations. This is sort of the modern version of controlled practice in the case of non-branching and freer practice in the case of branching. So you will be practicing conversations that have options. Those are the branching, as we saw with the Speak Anywhere app before, Jasmine showed us. And then non-branching is where you're doing more of a controlled practice, where you're practicing specific phrases and sentences to improve pronunciation and comprehension. This provides massive opportunities for practice. The students go in and go again and again and again to help build their confidence. Up to 52% of students, this was discovered in a study that Pearson carried out, leave formal education not feeling confident in their English communication abilities. And this is mainly because they feel they don't have opportunities for practice. And Mondly is a simple way to give them access to that practice. It also provides technology in the classroom, which is great for students to see and for parents to see as well. You can track progress, you can see what your students have been doing, how many words, what words they've learned, and it gives you a profile of the students who with premium access can add as many languages as they want, not just English. So this is not just an English classroom tool. This can be for French, German, Chinese, and various other tools as well, or languages as well. So I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of Mondly live. First, we're going to look at the student's perspective. So this is the dashboard the students see when they open in a mobile phone, in a tablet, or online. There's one main difference, which is the chatbot. We're going to see the chatbot and how it looks in a mobile phone or tablet. Online, it looks like this. Before we get into that, I just want to show you how the profile system works. If you click on the flag, you go into your account. And this is where you can...
1 second, Claire, I can't see your actual...
You can't see it?
No.
It's because I'm doing it live. What if I do this?
Yeah.
This is not sure. Can you see it now?
No. Let's have a think.
No, it's fine. I know what's wrong. You should be able to see it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go back and show you from the beginning. So as I mentioned, this is the student's dashboard. They have their themes, their topics. These are also mapped to some of our material, including Speak Out 3rd edition and Wider World 2nd edition, which is a secondary book. You can get more details from your ELT consultant about. And as I mentioned, by clicking on the flag, whatever language may be your main language of learning, you can open up your profile page. Again, I'll mention this is for the student. We're looking at the student's perspective right now. From here, You can add as many languages as you want as a student. You can see I have a total of 9 currently, and I can simply add another one. Here I've chosen Spanish as my mother tongue, but we have all of these ones available. And then I can go in and select British or American English, depending on the preference of the student. And I can select the level. Currently, the levels we have mapped to the CEFR. Principiante would be A1 to A2. Intermediate would be B1 to B1 plus. And advanced is B2 to B2 plus. We are planning on reaching C1 with the general English. There is also a professional English or workplace English option that already reaches C1 if you do have any students doing business English classes. Coming out of here. There are 2 main ways that the students can use Mondly for practice. They can go into any of these topics. For example, one of my personal favorites is always food around the world. And in here, they have a series of lessons, a video introducing the material, the language, and then a practice section where they get to see if they've understood and taken in the information. There's a grammar lesson and a grammar lesson practice section, and then a chance to practice speaking and pronunciation. I'm just going to double check that I've shared my sound. Yeah. And we can have a look at the video. I'm just going to play a very short part of this video.
I want to tell you about my favorite coffee shop in the neighborhood. I have just tried the food there. It's awesome. You see, I'm not a fan of weak coffee at all. I prefer strong to weak coffee, and their strong coffee is just perfect.
So you can see here, we mark the key vocabulary. This will be important for the practice activities that they do in the next section. And the videos all range from around about 1 minute 20 to 3 minutes so that they can take their time and take in the vocabulary. Once they've watched the video, there's a short comprehension exercise. I know the answers to this because I've watched this a couple of times. But if the students get it wrong, for example, they don't lose a life because we're providing premium access. So at no point do we interrupt their learning. It simply takes them back to the beginning of the video, but they can close the video and move on if they feel like they've got it, they just answered it wrong by mistake, etc. They can then go into the practice section.
To taste food or drinks to find out if you like it. To try. Have you tried the coffee?
So you can see we've done a comprehension exercise. We're now doing a comprehension exercise that also combines reading. And these would be, I'm doing it on a computer because I'm presenting it to you, but this would be very easy to do on a mobile phone or
Used
tablet.
to talk about a drink that contains a lot of water and has little taste. Weak.
Okay, and you can see it also helps with the pronunciation.
The coffee is too weak in my opinion.
And you have oral practice as well. I'm not going to do it today simply because it is a little bit of a lag. Sometimes it doesn't pick up my computer. But you will be able to ask for a free Mondly license from your ELT consultants. We'd be more than happy to provide that to you so you can play around with it and see if it's something that would really fit.
Great, Claire. Before moving on, would you just mind letting us know again what is branching and non-branching AI?
Sure. So branching is when you have options in the conversation. So when we were looking at the Speak Anywhere app, you saw that there were pictures that gave options for what she had to say to her colleague when she was communicating with the chatbot. That is branching. So you can go in one time and choose one option, and that takes you in one direction of a conversation. You can go in another time and pick a different option, and just like a tree, that takes you off on a different branch of conversation. Another way of thinking about it is going in one time and choosing the positive option, and going in another time and choosing the negative option. So that's branching. Non-branching is when you don't have an option. It asks you, or it prompts you to say one specific thing. So if you've been looking at a vocabulary exercise at food and drink, it will ask you to say phrases related specifically to food and drink, so you can practice the pronunciation and flow of that particular phrase. Is that clear?
Yep, sounds good to me. I'll let you know if there are any more questions.
Fantastic. Please continue putting questions if anything is unclear. We will have time for some more questions at the end, but use that questions and answers box, please. Okay, so as I said, the students can use these topic lessons as many times as they want to try and improve their learning, to try and improve their understanding, but they also have the daily lessons, and the daily lessons are actually infinite. It is based on the work that the student is doing within the app. So even if 3 students start at the same time, depending on how much study they do and what answers they get right and wrong, the daily lesson will generate classes individual to that student. You can simply do a daily lesson, you can do a weekly lesson, and you can do a monthly challenge. The student simply clicks go, and we're looking at food. I've done the food lesson a lot, so it's picking different foods for me to learn.
Tomato.
Also, you'll see here that this is in Spanish because that's what I selected as the mother tongue. If you select Portuguese, it would be in Portuguese as the mother tongue, French is the mother tongue.
I like tomatoes.
Okay. If the student needs a bit more scaffolding and a bit more support, the words are actually translated simply by clicking on them so they can get a better idea, because this is a bit like drilling. This is taking the repetition out of your classes and putting them in the app. This is where they can practice over and over again phrases like I like tomatoes, I like coffee, I don't like, do you like, and they become more familiar with the structures, allowing you in the classes to focus more on fluency and correction. Okay.
Mushroom.
Okay. And then the chatbot in here, you can see this is what it looks like. For example, booking a ticket.
Good morning. Hi. Good afternoon. Hello.
Again, this would be an example of branching. This is a branching conversation because you have 3 different options. You could go on one day and choose good afternoon. You can go in another time and choose hello and see if it affects the conversation. Okay. The biggest option, again, being whether you are negative, rude, or polite and positive to people. And the chatbot works fine. It's great. But I think what's more interesting is Luna. Now, if you just give me one moment, because I have to come back to my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, all good.
So this is an example of Luna. This is recorded from my mobile phone. So this is exactly what you would see. And Luna is our AI chatbot in the mobile phone and tablet versions. Similar topics.
Hey. Good to see you. Today let's order food in a restaurant. You're the customer, and I'll take your order. Let's go. Welcome. My name is Luna, and I'll be your server for the evening. What would you like to drink? We have water, juice, soft drinks, tea, and coffee.
I'll have a lemonade, please.
And what would you like to have for your main course? We have pizza, grilled chicken, fish and chips, and a few other options. We also have today's specials.
Have you got anything vegetarian or vegan?
Yes, of course. We have a soy burger and pumpkin risotto.
I'll have the pumpkin risotto, please.
Okay. And what side dishes would you like with that?
So again, you can see quite a lot more fluent than perhaps the other chatbot, much more natural, and it feels like you're talking to a person, which can be quite comforting when people are first using this sort of interactive AI. Okay. What we're looking at now is the teacher's version of the dashboard. I'm going to share a link with you. Let's see if I can do this correctly. You cannot see the website currently. Is that correct, Jasmine?
I can now, yeah.
You can. Fantastic. Okay. So as the teacher, when you come in, you can add learners from here, selecting the language, let's say Spanish and English. You can also skip this and leave it completely open for the student. You then simply need to add an email address, and you can add a team. So if you had a number of classes, particularly for more competitive, maybe teens, you could make each class a team and have them compete against each other. You could then even look at the score of that team overall and compare it and use it as a way to give out prizes, best team, most words learned, etc. Okay. Once you have the email address, you add to the invite list. You can also do a batch registration by downloading the template from here. You can add multiple email addresses. I'm not actually sure of the limit, but I wouldn't recommend more than like 10 in this particular section. And then you always have to have a general language learning license. General language learning is just general English, whereas Workplace is the business English version. Both of these are available in 6-month and 12-month licenses, with general language learning reaching a B2+ and Workplace English reaching a C1. You send the invite and the student receives an email with information on how to log into their account. The login is the same whether they're using a mobile phone, a tablet, or online. It's always the same. Once the learner's in the dashboard, they will appear here. You have the name, the languages they're learning. So you can see we have a few they're learning, in this case, English and French, English and Dutch, English and Spanish. We have someone who's learning Korean as well down here. And the licenses that they have. General language is represented by a picture of the earth, and the business is represented by a briefcase. If you want to remove licenses, there are 2 very easy ways of doing it. You simply click here, remove license. And if you want to give the license back, you click again. You can also do it from here by highlighting the student and removing the license. This is because we often have dropout. We often have students who join and then leave academies, or if in the case of business English, their attendance goes up and down. So if you would like to retrieve the license from a student, you can take the license back and award it to someone else who's joined the course. You will keep the profile of the student unless you choose to delete the learner entirely. Okay, so it's very easy to use. You can also get information about your students by going in to any of these sections. I'm actually going to choose a different one because I would like to see if I have. So we can see that this learner did 2 hours and 10 minutes. They learned a total of 145 words and 55 phrases. We scroll down here. This is a daily tracking of their activity. So if they've done anything recently, would we be able to see what they've been doing? And we can also filter it for the month, the last 2 weeks, or the last week. Most interesting, though, I think, is here, where you can go to the daily lessons or the lessons and see what they have learned. So for example, here, if we click on the pencil and piece of paper, see glass, desk, key, and the Korean version that they learned. Okay. And again, just to mention, they can add as many languages as they want. You can add as many languages as you want. So it's a great way of seeing similarities between your students in class. So you can build profiles or perhaps projects based on the interests that they share. We had a case in Italy where the students were all going on a school trip to Holland. So all of them started learning Dutch, and the teachers were able to use that to their advantage, even in English class, and do some interesting projects and classes on Holland. You can also generate reports, both simple and detailed. This includes information, more information regarding the language that they've learned. You simply click generate. It downloads to the computer. And from there, you can provide it to the learners themselves or to their parents. You also have a section where the reports are saved, so you can always refer back to them here. And that is the teacher's version of Mondly, the teacher's perspective. Are there any questions at the moment, Jasmine?
There was one question, but I think you've answered it now, because the question was basically how do the students get access to the Mondly app? I think you answered that just then. But yeah, if you still have any doubts or questions, just let us know.
As I said, there's 6-month and 12-month licenses available. The best thing to do is to consult your ELT. Oh, whoops, I think I've clicked on my link again. Sorry, my apologies. Okay, there we go. So just to sum up, these are some of the benefits that you have using Mondly. You have access to consistent practice, and that includes 500 minutes plus of speaking practice, which is absolutely invaluable to students whenever they're not in the country where the language is spoken. The general English content reaches a B2 plus. It will eventually reach a C1 plus. We're hoping by the beginning of the next academic year. And the business English already reaches C1. Both 6-month and 12-month licenses are available. Those you can reuse. You don't give it to a student and then burn it if that student leaves. You can give it to another student if you would like to pass it on to somebody else. As you've seen, the videos are fun, it's engaging, the interactive speaking practice is great. They can do it on the go, they can do it hands-free, and you have access to all 33 languages, depending on mother tongue. So some languages have more options than others. So some have 33 and some say it's 41, but either way, there is a huge number of languages available in Mondly. This can also be interesting for any of your students that might have parents that are not from Portugal or Spain. Maybe you have Pakistani, Chinese, North African students who would find this useful for including their family or their parents at the same time. And
right,
Jasmine's now going to talk to you a bit.
Question before we move on.
Sure.
Do you get a license when you get the book, or do you have to pay separately for a license? How does it work?
So Jasmine's going to talk a little bit about how that works, but basically Mondly is a complement to your course or a tool that you can fit into different ways. I think, Jasmine, this is best for you to answer because it really covers your section.
Exactly. I think that goes quite nicely into this section, which is how to include Mondly into your school. It doesn't come with any course books. The idea is that the academy would buy a pack of licenses. As Claire said, there are 6-month and 12-month licenses available. And the first suggestion that we have, basically, Claire, click, is as a complement to your classes. I mean, as Claire mentioned, and as you can see here, you've got 500 minutes of speaking practice. So this is not to replace your lessons. This is not to replace teaching. It's something that you can add or offer as an add-on, something extra. So perhaps you're going to use it with, you've got your course book and your workbook, but you want to give them something a bit more kind of digital, up to date, using AI, something to set your academy apart from others. And these are just ideas that we've seen when we've been talking to academies and centres in the last year or so, and how they've told us that they're going to include it. So again, you've got perhaps exam preparation students that are working really hard and they just need an extra boost, something extra that they can use to really get up their level of English ready for the exams. So you can offer it to these students as well. And then perhaps you've got some conversation classes that you're offering for adults and teens, and maybe you're kind of lacking something a little bit more formal or second direction. You're doing conversation classes, but there isn't really that much kind of, you're not using a course book, but you're kind of looking for more material. So what you can do is offer them, you can provide them with Mondly. They can do a topic on Mondly. And then as Claire showed us, we've got the reports. So what you can do is have a look at the reports, have a look at what topics they've been studying, what vocabulary and what phrases they've been learning. And then you can create conversation classes based around this information. And something interesting one academy told me was that they were going to offer this to students where perhaps you've got people that have come to the academy and they can't sign up to your traditional classes because they've got too many commitments or they just can't fit in with the timetable. So you could offer something different and say, look, we've got Mondly that you can use, you can do extra speaking practice, and then perhaps try and tie this in and get them to sign up to conversation classes as well. And in terms of incorporating the costs into your centre or into your business plan, the idea, the most popular options we've seen is to include it in your initial registration or monthly fees. But really always the idea is that you're passing these costs on to the students. So I hope that makes it a little bit clearer. Obviously, if you do have any more questions, then do let us know.
Thank you, Jasmine. So don't forget, we've mentioned it many times, the team is here, they are present for this session, and you're going to meet them all at the end of the session, and you can ask them directly about getting a Mondly license for yourself to have a look, maybe for more of your teachers. And we are as well offering pilots, so you can choose up to 2 groups of students, and we would provide access to both the teacher and the student so they can give it a go. We really believe this is a great way to improve and engage students and their English better. So the final section that I'm going to go into is taking what Jasmine's mentioned is the GSE. We've mentioned some things about AI, we've mentioned Mondly, and how we can sort of connect all these dots in a connected learning program to support our students on their journey, on their learner's journey. Okay. So we're going to start considering the life cycle of a student. And right now we have our lovely fresh-faced, I'm going to say like 21-year-old, he's in university, let's call him Juanito. Okay, and Juanito has come to class in September. It's a new start. He's ready to go. He's ready to dedicate himself to getting that B2, for example. And then what happens is by January, maybe he's missed some classes, maybe he's got a lot of work on, maybe he's been out with friends, you know, maybe going to class at 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. isn't suiting him so well anymore, but he's not too bad. He's still going. He's still dedicated and he still wants to get to the end of this course. If you could now put into the questions and answers box, please, what you think are the next steps 3 and 4 on this life cycle of a student. What is a common profile that you see with these students? Where will Juanito be in the next few months?
Okay, so we've got one answer here. Liza's likely to drop out.
Who said that? Laya?
Yeah.
I wonder if everyone's in agreement with Laya. Let's see, or if anyone has a different idea of where Juanito will go.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly happened to me, Claire. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Like when you said that, it really reminded me of my experience learning Catalan. You know, when I started doing classes, and I was so excited in September, and I really kind of got to see my progress a little bit. But then, as you say, the time comes, you get exams coming up, and I just felt like I couldn't keep up with the classes, the pressure, the stress, and I did drop out, and that's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, I think it's a really common profile. I had the same thing, especially now that I'm working and I have a kid. There are so many things that get in the way. And even someone like Juanito might start fresh-faced and happy, but by the end of the course, he's looking a bit more like this. Okay, just as Laya said, it's becoming too hard. The progress has slowed and they just don't. They've missed too many classes. They don't want to do it and they quit again. Okay. So I think this sounds familiar to all of us. Now, whether we've been teachers and we're watching our students go through this, or as Jasmine and I both mentioned, even as students, we've had this experience.
Yeah, and we've got another comment here as well, which I think is quite nice, that Elizabeth says that, yeah, in terms of teenagers, they complain all year round about the amount of work they have and the fact that they have a million exams. But the problem is that May and June is when the weather is warmer, they're tired, it's much harder for them to do extras.
That's a really good point.
School. I mean, we feel that as adults, you know? So imagine how they feel.
Yeah, so how can we prevent this? How can we prevent dropout? And there's sort of 3 main points that I would identify here. The first being clear objectives. Maybe in the book we have some idea, or maybe students come in saying, I want to do a B2, but that isn't necessarily a clear objective. We need to break it down into a more digestible objective, a more understandable objective for the student. And this is where things like the can-dos in the CEFR can come in really handy. Good data. So we need good, reliable data from a good, reliable source that we can base our progress or our courses on, and the student's individual progress needs to be based on good data. So we have an idea of where they are, where they're going, and how we can help them get there. And then finally, students have to see progress. If students don't see progress, it's really difficult to keep them motivated. And that's where this feeling of, oh no, I'm not going to bother. And that's particularly true when you come in September or October and you're doing present simple, present continuous again. You see a lot of progress quite quickly. But then when you get to the sort of difficult part of the course, they see less progress. We could also make that a wider thing, and particularly in that what we referred to before as the intermediate stage, so sort of from an A2 plus through to a B1, B1 plus. That's a massive level that a lot of students just wander around in for years and don't feel like they're progressing. So the global scale of English, this is the GSE that Jasmine mentioned with the courseware. This is our solution to those issues. It's central to our connected learning program. It's how we connect those dots. It's how we connect courseware to our AI-powered online testing, and it's how we connect that to our certification, either in paper-based or computer-based testing. Okay, and that can also be supported by Mondly. You can see there's some characteristics here of the global scale of English, and in particular, it builds confidence and it puts students at the right level for their optimal progress. For example, a student comes in a bit like Juanito, as we mentioned before, in September 2024, he comes in A2. And in June 2025, he does a few tests. Oh no, he's still an A2. This isn't going to necessarily instill him with a lot of confidence, or is it going to want to make him sign up for more courses because he's still the same level? But if we use something like the GSE and its can-do statements and its smaller, more achievable objectives, the student can see, okay, maybe I went from a 22 to a 29 and I didn't quite make it into A2, but I can see my progress. And each of those points will refer to things that you now can do, as opposed to, you know, you start at a 43, you move to a 45 and on to a 49, as opposed to spending up to 200 hours studying in the B1 level, but not really seeing progress. This is how we can help our students feel more confident and like they want to continue and they want to sign up for that next course. So here's how we can get some of the data. First of all, we have our level test. This is online, okay? And we have with or without speaking. It's suitable for 14 years old and up. It's 20 to 30 minutes maximum to do the test, and you can get the results instantaneously into your account as a teacher. It shows the current capabilities of the student, and the reports are always the same. The reports are consistent throughout. We have eliminated human error. With the level test where you don't have speaking, you could have the students come in and still have that human contact. But I think it's really important to notice that this is a consistent test that keeps everything the same. It will give you the CEFR as well as the GSE range that the student falls into. It will also provide a report on each ability, and it will tell you if they are at level, above level, or below level. And you can then go into the course using this level test with a clearer idea of the students and where they need to be placed. Or if you don't have the luxury of putting those students into separate classes based on their level, you at least have more information on the diversity that you have in the classroom and who is more matched to who, which can help with classroom management massively. Please let me know if there's any questions about any of this. The benchmark test is our diagnostic test, again, suitable for 14 years and older. And this is our diagnostic test. So the idea being that you could use this at the beginning of a course to show the students where they are, say at the Christmas exams, and then you could use it again in the summer course. And if you do those two tests together, we will give you a clear idea of the student's progress based on the GSE. They have an overall score. We always include the CEFR, so you have a good idea of where they are in the overall European-wide scale. And you have a point system on the second test that shows you this person has gone up 12 points from their listening. They've improved 12 points. 19 points in the case of speaking and 2 in the case of writing. I'm not sure what happened and why they went down. 4 in reading, but this is also really important data. We also provide recommended activities. If you are using Pearson courses, that will also give you the exact pages and chapters where you can find those activities. And as you can see, the suggested learning objectives: can read and understand some prices, can recognize the letters of the alphabet. These are the objectives that I'm talking about. These are what you can show the students using these reports to say, this is what you can do, and these are the next steps that you're going to take. Once they've completed this, if this is something that you opt for, we also have the Pearson English International Certificate. This is our official certification of level, which is awarded by Edexcel. Edexcel is another part of the Pearson branch, making us the largest company that does educational texts and tests in the world. Again, 14 years old and up, and all of the skills are assessed. You have the choice of paper-based or computer-based, and we are currently looking for testing centres and for preparation centres. So please talk to your ELT representative who can give you some more information on this.
Yeah, thanks, Claire. And actually that kind of links into a question that we have here, which I think is nice for everyone to have the answer, is how do we as teachers or academies get access to all of these online tests? Is it through our ELT consultant?
Yeah, it's through your ELT consultant, and particularly with Benchmark, we're offering pilots. We would be happy to provide a license to you, but for almost any of these tests with Pearson English International Certificate, it's a little different. I'm going to leave that to my colleague Phil to explain a little bit later on. But with Benchmark and Level, we would provide you with a license so you could have a look. And then we are offering pilots in Benchmark, which you can set up through your ELT consultant and Phil. Any other questions, Jasmine?
Thank you very much. Oh, I think, yeah, no, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. And this is just a quick look at the reports that you get with the Pearson English International Certificate. So the Edexcel is the awarding body. The CEFR is on there. We use the scale to guide us and to give our students an idea of their progress, but we always refer back to the CEFR because this is an official exam that needs to have it on it so they can be accepted into universities and other places, etc. The score, okay, and Ofqual is the certifying body. With the computer-based test, you get a full report, again, giving you the overall score and the level in the CEFR, and a performance summary with the level for each skill that they've tested. You also get a Credly badge, which is something that you can share on social media and places like LinkedIn to celebrate your English level, which is a great thing for students as well. The GSE is also mapped for Mondly. So if you imagine that we have the courseware that Jasmine has presented today that has the CEFR, we have the testing to make sure that our students are on the right path, and then added to that, we have Mondly to support it all and help the students practice and engage, still following this global scale of English. So it's a full environment. It's a full learning environment that can help you grow your students' confidence and improve the general experience they have in class and in the school in general. We can provide these mapping booklets to anyone that's interested. We have them for beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. You can see it also contains all of the information and content from each of the themes and topics that there are. So that has reached the end of the presentation. Please remember, you can ask any of these questions to your ELT consultant, who you will finally get to meet now. So I'm going to start with Alyssa. Alyssa, would you like to open your mic and present yourself, introduce yourself? Sorry, speaking Spanglish.
Sure, no problem, Claire. Well, I know a lot of the I've met a lot of you already, the schools in Madrid and Portugal, but if there are any others that have joined today and don't know me, feel free to get in touch. Yeah, I don't know a lot of what Claire mentioned regarding, if you have any questions about titles you've seen today and would like more information, feel free to contact your consultant. Please do so. Also regarding the Monthly, trying out Monthly demo licenses, doing a pilot, etc. Same for the benchmark and level test. So if you've saw a little bit of something today that sparked your interest, please do get in touch, and we can talk about it in more detail, and I can set up the pilot for you, etc. I don't know what else, Claire, in terms of introduction. I can mention anything I've forgotten.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. If you know most of them, I guess it's fine. Unless you want to mention, this will be viewed as a recording by those who could not attend the live session. So yeah, I mean, if you want to mention anything about yourself on a personal level, feel free. Or we can just move on.
I did just come back from maternity leave, so if you might have been in touch with other with Claire, my colleague Phil, in the last maybe 6 months or so, but I am back, and so can help you with anything you need. Yeah.
Yeah, Alyssa had a beautiful baby girl with the thickest head of hair I think I've ever seen before.
Right.
Thank you very much, Alyssa. Okay,
Thank
so yeah,
you.
Alyssa covers Madrid and all of Portugal. That's why I've added the code to her mobile phone number, because she is our international ELT consultant.
Good thinking there.
Moving on, Paloma unfortunately was called away at the last minute, so she wasn't able to be with us today. But Paloma covers Andalusia, Ceuta, and Melilla. She is an absolutely incredible ELT consultant, and she is very clued up on all of the things we've discussed today, and she'd be more than happy to get in touch with you. So drop her an email or a phone number, which are on the screen now. This will be sent to you as a recording, and if there are any other issues, we can pop it in the chat, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and that's me. I did introduce myself at the beginning, but here we go. You've got my details there. So you've got my email address, my WhatsApp, take a photo. Feel free to email me, WhatsApp me, call me. And yeah, interesting. Well, I've also had a baby, but my baby's now 13 months. He's a half English, half Venezuelan baby boy.
What a mix.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm based here in Barcelona, just outside, like I said before, near the mountains, near Collserola, and yeah, so looking forward to hearing from you, and thanks for coming.
Moving on to Phil, who enjoys public speaking massively.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I love speaking on the camera. Nice to virtually meet you all, and thanks to Claire and Jasmine. So yeah, my name's Phil Brassord, as you can see from the screen. I'm the assessment manager for Spain and Portugal, which essentially means that I work closely with the team when we're talking about evaluations and certifications, such as Benchmark and Pearson English International Certificate, which Claire mentioned in the presentation. Now, Claire, you mentioned my name and you caught me not listening because I was dealing with a client. Was there a question that you wanted me to answer?
No, I don't, unless there's any questions in the chat, which I haven't had a look. Let me see.
No, there are no questions in the chat.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks,
perfect.
Jasmine.
So yeah, just a general introduction. Phil, like Alyssa, is another international member of the team, but he focuses principally on assessment. He doesn't deal with courseware and other things like Alyssa does. I think that's it, really, unless there's anything else you want to mention about the tests themselves, Phil.
If you'd like any more information, then talk to your local ELT consultant first of all, and they will contact me if and when they need a bit more information or we're getting farther along. If anyone would like to write to me, just be aware that my email has one L.
Oh, sorry, I
in
forgot to take that out. Whoops,
not
sorry.
2 L's.
Apologies.
Okay, no problem. Right, thanks very much.
Thank you. Moving on to Guillermo. Guillermo is another member of our team who could not be here today, but he did record a fabulous video. Please let me know if you can hear the audio.
Hello, good morning. Nice to meet
Yes,
you
we
all.
can.
My name is Guillermo Loren, and I've been working in Pearson for the last 9.5 years. And at the moment, I'm in charge of the Canary Islands, Extremadura, a couple of provinces in Castilla-La Mancha, Guadalajara and Toledo, and a couple of provinces as well in Castilla-León, Ávila and Segovia. And then I'm also in charge of most of the Comunidad de Madrid. So I hope we can meet soon, and it will be a pleasure to work with you. Thank you.
consummate professional, Guille. Fantastic. Next is Lola. You can open your mic. Feel free to speak in English or Spanish, Lola. It's fine.
I'll do it in Spanish, if you don't mind.
Genial, sin problema.
Hola a todos, buenos días. Soy Lola Martínez y trabajo en la
Está
zona de...
apagada la cámara. No sé si quieres abrir la cámara o vas a hacerlo solo en audio.
La tengo abierta, pero no sé por qué, no la veo en la pantalla, pero bueno.
Ok, no pasa
Bueno,
nada.
como decía, soy Lola Martínez y el Consultant de la zona de Castellón y Valencia, Castellón y provincia, Valencia y provincia. Y pues cualquier cosa que necesitéis, aquí estoy para atenderos, para enviaros muestras. Saludos desde aquí a Anju, Carmen y Elisa, que habéis asistido a la sesión. Y espero que, bueno, que os haya sido útil y que la hayáis disfrutado tanto como nosotros. We'll keep in touch. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Lola. That was fantastic. Okay, Íñigo is next.
Buenos días a todos. Bueno, pues yo soy Íñigo Otegui, soy ELT Consultant desde hace ya 21 años en Pearson. Y bueno, pues la zona que gestiono y que llevo pues es toda la zona de prácticamente el norte de España, pues que empieza desde Aragón, Asturias, llevo Cantabria también, llevo Galicia, Navarra, Rioja, luego Castilla y León también, excepto Ávila y Segovia, y luego País Vasco, con las tres provincias. Y nada, pues al igual que mis compañeros, pues ahí tenéis mi correo electrónico y mi teléfono, así que cualquier duda, cualquier cosa que podáis necesitar, pues aquí tenéis donde localizarme. Así que nada, un saludo para todos.
Gracias, Íñigo. Que vaya muy bien el día. And finally, we have Pedro Vega. Last but not least, of course.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pedro Vega. I am the ELT consultant for Murcia, Albacete, Alicante, Almería, Ciudad Real, and Cuenca. I'm working in Pearson 24 years ago. Y estaré encantado de enviaros muestras de lo que necesitéis, de lo que ya habéis visto. Muchas gracias a los de mi zona por haber asistido, Sara, María José, no te pierdes ni una, Ángeles, Callado, etcétera, os he visto ahí. Y bueno, ya sabéis, ya me conocéis, normalmente estamos en contacto, o sea que lo que necesitéis, pues estoy a vuestra disposición, como siempre. Muchas gracias por asistir a todos. Un saludo.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pedro. And that brings us to the end. Are there any questions at all?
I haven't seen any in the last few minutes, but if anyone's got any final questions, thoughts, anything you want to share, please do let us know.
Okay. If you don't have any questions, I would really appreciate it if you could scan the QR code and give us some feedback on this webinar. Feedback helps us to improve. Let us know what you're interested in, what you think we could add, what you think we could take away. I think we've got some questions.
Yeah, Laia says, I take it that monthly fees will be discussed with our reps. Exactly. You can talk to your ELT consultant about monthly and they can let you know about prices and everything like that.
They're the people in the know. They've got all the information. Laia says that will be you.
Okay. All right, great. Well,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, exactly. You can just contact me and I'll let you know.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for your kind comment. We really appreciate it. And if you do have any questions that come up in the next while, or for any of those watching the recording, which will be sent to everyone, please direct them to your ELT consultant, and through them they can reach myself, Phil, or the person who can help you with the answer. I think we can.
Well, yeah, should we close the session? And thank you.
Thanks very much. Have a great day and enjoy the sunshine.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.